What's up, y'all? How you doing? It's your boy. Hold on a second. What's up, y'all? Is this too old? I don't know. Well, this is how I start the videos, right? So let me do it again. What's up, y'all? How you doing? It's your boy Dog from EBF Academy by English Black Friday. And guess what? Today, we're gonna talk about the slang terms used in 2026. I know, if you don't know these words, I'm sure Gen Z is already judging you, and worse, maybe you are speaking like it's still 2005. I guess this is how I talk. I mean, I'm over 40, right? Let's do it. Today, I'm going to teach you real slang people are using in 2026, from TikTok to music to real conversation. If your English is perfect on paper, but weird in real life, this video is for you. Stay up to the end. I'm sure you're gonna learn something that's gonna be really useful for your next conversations. So we're gonna start with the slang term number one. It's giving. But you know I'm Brazilian, right? Born and raised. So I'm going to compare that to Brazilian Portuguese so that my Brazilian students and friends out there will understand. But hold on a second. Before we go for the first slang term, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed yet, and hit this like button. Smash it. You know, this is really helpful, okay? Number one, it's giving. It's giving. It sounds pretty like normal English, right? Like everyday language, but what does that mean? Well, when we say it's giving, that means that it gives you the vibe or the impression of something. For example, it's giving rich energy. It's giving rich energy. So it sounds like, you know, it gives me the impression that that's rich. Or it's giving I didn't study for the test. It's giving I didn't study for the test. That means, well, you kind of have that vibe that you didn't study. So, you know, you feel like, I'm not ready for it. And I can see that. So it's giving. Does that make sense? Look, this term cannot be used in formal contexts. It's more used in social media or in informal conversations with your friends. Nothing very serious, okay? You're not going to use that at a meeting, for example, you know, at your work meeting. Now, this is not really cool to use that. And by the way, I say cool all the time. I think it's kind of old, right? People are using the opposite. Instead of saying cool, they say this is hot or this is fire. I think I'm getting old. So in Brazilian Portuguese, we say tá com vibe de... A gente usa vibe, que é short para vibration. Que é uma palavra em inglês, né? Mas a gente adotou ela no português brasileiro e a gente fala, não, uma vibe diferente, né? Uma vibe legal. So, it's giving. Ou assim, tá com uma energia de... Sabe quando você chega no lugar e fala assim, não sei, cara, mas tá energia meio pesada assim, né? Uma vibe meio estranha. Well, it's given, you know, danger. It's given danger. Tá com uma energia de perigo, né? Um lugar perigoso. Sound good? So this slang is very Gen Z. If you're 40 plus like me, use it carefully, okay? Because sometimes some of the slang terms that we use, you know, it sounds really cool for the, you know, the teenagers to use, but for us, it kind of go like, It's just like an old man trying to be, you know, a teenager. So it's not really cool. Second one. Slang number two is delulu. That's weird, isn't it? Babe, do you know what delulu is?
Lulu de Pomerânia.
Well, delulu is short. Remember I told you about the vibe, which is short for vibration? Well, delulu is short for delusional. You know, when a person is just like fantasizing things, you know, so, oh my God. Hey, by the way, babe, I have to tell you something. You know who called me last night and she wants to go out with me? Rihanna.
Só com você? Comigo não?
Nah, just me.
Eu te mando no lugar.
Yeah. Well, you know, this is happening to me, right?
Ele fez de novo. Ele fez de novo.
And then she's gonna look at me just like, oh my God, really? Rihanna called you. You're so delulu. Delulu is like delusional. You're fantasizing things. You're going crazy. Well, yeah, delulu makes a lot of sense, right? So check this example here. He thinks she likes him. He's delulu. He is delusional. He is living in a fantasy, okay? He thinks she likes him. And then you say to him, man, you're delulu. of course she doesn't like you, okay? So in Portuguese, the equivalent that we have is something like this. Véi, você tá viajando, cara. Você tá doidão. Oh, just before we go for the third one, look, when you say that the person is the Lulu, just make sure that you do that with your friends, okay? Because if you do that with a stranger, it might sound rude, or maybe you're just crossing that respect line. So you don't look at a person that you don't know as, man, you Delulu. No, you do that with your friends, okay? Now, slang number 3, cooked. And I'm not talking about Breaking Bad.
Someone cooked here.
Cooked means that you are in trouble, finished. There's no way out. That's when you're cooked. For example, I didn't study and the test is tomorrow. I'm cooked. In Portuguese, we might say something like, vai cortar. Ferrado.
A vontade de rir é grande, mas a de chorar é mais...
Olha, cooked, pra você guardar aqui, ó, cooked. Cooked tem a ver com cozinhar alguma coisa, né? Lembra quando a gente falava assim, nossa, tô frito. Se minha mãe me pegar fazendo isso, eu tô frito. That's crazy, this is so old. I'm gonna give you 2 slang terms on number 4, okay? Because one is the opposite of the other. So you already know, I've already taught this one here, which is no cap. Cap means lie. So no cap, that means you're not lying. When you say, oh, this is cap, or he's capping, that means he's lying. But no cap is the same as on God. On God. So when you say no cap, that means that you are not lying, which means that you are telling the truth, even if it sounds really impossible. You know, for example, let's say, man, you have no idea, but I got $10,000 in my pocket. No cap. I say, for real? Yeah, man, on God. When I say on God, that means that I promise on God, I swear to God. We usually say that I put that on everything. I put that on everything. That means I promise, you know, to everybody, to everything that I have, like on God, on everything that I'm not lying. So on God means the truth. You're telling the truth. Check some examples. This is the best pizza ever. No cap. That means, yeah, I'm not lying. For real, this is the best pizza ever. Or you can say, for example, man, I studied all night. On God. That means I promise I studied all night. No cap, I'm not lying. So no cap, on God, that means it's the truth. I mean, when you are in professional settings, maybe this is not something you're gonna use, okay? You're not gonna go to your boss and just say, yeah, I wrote the report, no cap. Nah. Or, man, I wrote the report on God. Nah, it's not really used in professional settings, okay? You're gonna do that when you're talking to your friend. Maybe you're just playing around with your wife, with your husband, boyfriend, girlfriend. Just say like this, baby, you know I love you on God. In Portuguese, we say something like this. Eu juro. Tô mentindo não, velho. De rocha. Você é de BH, né? Next one. This slang number 5, main character energy. Main character energy. Think about it. So if you are watching a movie, okay? Let's say Titanic, because you know I'm 40 plus. Titanic was, you know, the bomb back in the day. Who are the main characters? Leonardo DiCaprio and Kate Winslet?
Não lembro.
Yeah, I think it's Kate Winslet. Yeah, well, so they are the main characters. So if you walk into a room and then, you know, you walk like that, well, you strut, you're just walking like that, and then you look at a person walking, and it's like, damn, main character energy, which is like the energy of the main character of its own movie. So main character energy. That's the slang. You know, a lot of people are using that, okay? Check the examples. When Natallí and I got married, she walked into the church like main character energy. Should have seen that. Made me cry. She was walking into the church. Main character energy. Like in Portuguese, like this. Chegou arrasando, chegou chegando lá. Como é que você fala isso em português? Main character energy. Let me know here in the comments. So let me tell you the truth. You know, learning slang is not about sounding cool all the time, you know, trying to be younger than you are or trying to, you know, give that energy, you know, It's given you're old, come on. But look, this is all about understanding real conversations because the language is alive. So things change, the slang terms change, something that was, nice in the past is not really cool anymore, and it goes this way. So that's why I'm always bringing videos about slang terms, because the slang terms, they change all the time. Personally, I don't use main character energy. I'm not gonna say that, but this is how it is. And real talk, you should learn at least for you to understand when you're watching a movie, when you're watching series, because these people are using that all the time. If you try to use these slang terms, all together, you're gonna sound weird because, people use them naturally. Sometimes they're just gonna use something here and there, just like no cap, just like real talk. I use more on God than I use no cap. I think no cap, it's giving teenage vibes to me. You know what I'm saying? So it sounds like I'm trying to be someone I'm not. But when I say on God, it kind of reminds me of what Usher used in a song. Put that on everything. Say on God, on everything. So to me, it sounds more common. And you have to analyze the conversation you're in so that you can decide whether to use it or not. Mas claro que eu deixei texto aqui para vocês usando essas gírias e agora você vai conseguir entender tudo. Last weekend, I went to a small event with some friends, and there was this guy who walked in like he had main character energy. You know the type, confident, relaxed, like everything around him was part of his story. I'm not gonna lie, it was working. The whole vibe, it's given success. It's given confidence, no cap. At first, I thought, okay, this guy gets it. He started talking to people, networking, making connections, and you could tell he believed in himself. And honestly, that kind of energy is powerful. But then, after a while, things started to change. He began talking about his plans, saying he was going to be rich in a few weeks, that he didn't really need to work hard, that everything would just happen for him. That's when I looked at my friend and said, I think he's a little delulu on God. Because there's a difference between confidence and illusion. Having main character energy is great, but only if you're actually building something behind the scenes. If not, reality hits, and when it hits, you're cooked. That moment made me think. A lot of people want the image of success, the vibe, the aesthetic, but they don't want the process. And in real life, you can't fake consistency. You can't fake discipline. So yeah, have confidence, walk into the room like it's given power, like it's given purpose. Just don't forget to back it up. No cap. So this is it for today. Thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you've learned. I'll see you in the next one. I'm out of here. Bye. Nossa, tô frito. What do you say, baby? Oh, you say that one, you can't say it again. Okay.